Good morning and welcome to this ceremony today honoring Edwin Eugene Neeley, better known to all of us as Gene, better known to me as Boss. We are honored to have the Consul General of France to the Midwest, Guillaume Lacroix, here today for the presentation of the Distinguished French Legion of Honor Award to Gene. The Legion of Honor is the highest distinction that France can bestow upon those who have achieved remarkable deeds for France. Founded by Napoleon Bonaparte in 1802, the National Order of the French Legion of Honor recognizes eminent service to the French Republic. Recipients of this honor are named by decree signed by the President of the Republic. What Gene and all those brave men and women did more than 75 years ago in France and throughout Europe and the Pacific was no small task. But looking at this man standing here today and knowing what we know about him, knowing how he is always willing to go the extra mile to succeed, it is no surprise to any of us that Gene Neeley proudly served his country and served it well. We must also carry the love, honor, and duty of these heroes forward to the future generations that will pass. Our children must know who they were, what they did, and why they did it. To do anything less will be a disservice to their sacrifice and their memories. As we watch Gene receive this award, we have no doubt that he will be thinking of his fellow soldiers who marched alongside him through the fields of southern France and on to victory. Let us please take a moment of silence to remember all the brave men and women who have died in the name of freedom. At this time, the Tazewell Military Rights Team will present the Kellers.
Face. Right dress. Order arms.
You can be seated. At this time, I would like to ask Peoria City Council member Beth Jensen to please come forward to present Jean with a proclamation from the mayor.
On behalf of the Peoria City Council and the Mayor of Peoria, we are honored to have an opportunity to participate in this ceremony and thank Mr. Neeley for his great service to our country and to our city. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
As a mother of 2 boys, one who's turning 18 this week and one who's 16, I just hope that if they're called to serve, that they serve with honor and distinction in the same manner that you have.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. So here's our proclamation. Whereas more than 75 years ago, Edwin E. Neeley risked his life for the freedom of others while serving his country in the Army Air Corps during World War II in Africa, Italy, France, Germany, and Belgium. And whereas the courage, dedication, self-sacrifice, and compassion of the heroes of the World War II generation continue to inspire our nation. And whereas Edwin E. Neeley continues to serve the country he loves through his hard work and dedication, volunteering for Greater Peoria Honor Flight, his passion for ensuring that all veterans receive their Day of Honor in Washington, D.C., serves as the greatest form of recognition that he can instill in the citizens of this great nation. Now, therefore, I, Beth Jensen, and on behalf of Jim Artis, the mayor of the city of Peoria, Illinois, do hereby recognize World War II veteran Edwin E. Neeley in Peoria, Illinois, dated this 27th day of September, 2019. This is for you.
Would Mark Matuzek please come forward?
Good morning, everyone. I'm here to introduce the Consul General of France to the Midwest to you this morning. Mr. Lacroix became the Consul General of France in Chicago on August 29th of 2017. A couple of days he'll have an anniversary. From his post in Chicago, he oversees the French and American relations throughout 13 Midwestern states. Guillaume holds diplomas from the Institute of Political Studies and the Law School of in University in Paris. He started his diplomatic career in 1997. He was assigned to the Bureau of African Affairs and then to the French embassies in Tanzania and then to Washington, D.C. He was also posted in 2 other diplomatic institutions, at the United States State Department as part of the Transatlantic Diplomatic Fellow Program and at the European External Action Service in Brussels. From 2013 until 2017, He served in the cabinets of French foreign affairs ministers as counselor for African affairs. Guillaume speaks Swahili. It's the language he studied at the Institute of Oriental Languages and Civilizations in Paris, and in the field on the islands of Zanzibar, East Africa. Mr. Lacroix is with us today to award a very special recognition to a very special individual who most of us, well, actually all of us, admire very much. Now I would like to ask everyone here to give a Greater Peoria Honor Flight welcome to Consul General Guillaume Lacroix.
Bonjour. Good morning. Feels good to be here in Peoria. City that is older than Chicago. And I'm French, I know that. It is a great honor for me to be with you and share this moment with you, to honor, to thank your hero, Mr. Neeley. But today is also our hero, a hero of 2 nations, maybe even more nations, but I'm speaking on behalf of France. 75 years ago, Mr. Neeley stormed the beaches of Provence and changed the destiny of my country forever. And we are forever grateful. Our gratitude, sir, is forever. Without you, without the sacrifice of your comrades, without the sacrifice of America's greatest generation, the French flag that is here will simply no longer exist. My country, my people were under foreign occupation after the defeat of 1940. Occupation of a foreign country and occupation of a tyranny. And without America, Europe will not have been freed. The French people know that. And actually, every French family has a story to tell about occupation. My family has a story to tell. My colleagues, my people's family have all stories to tell. Because our grandparents fought, suffered, was separated. One of my 2 grandfathers was a prisoner of war for 5 years. And my dad, who was 8 years old in 1944, was raised without his father. And like millions of children of that time. And it has been a duty for the generation of my grandparents, but also the generation of my parents, to ensure that the transmission of the memory, of the lessons, would be assured. And it is my duty now as a father of 2 to ensure that we keep the memory alive. The memory of the sacrifice, the memory of the alliance, the memory of the sufferings. It is our duty to be up to the bar that you set for us there. You took all the risks for our freedom, for America's freedom, but also for Europe's freedom. In serving your country, you saved my country. I can only say merci, monsieur. Merci so much. 75 years ago, you came to my country, and today I'm coming to you. It's a very simple thing for me to do. But for my country, it is a big deal. As it was mentioned earlier, the Legion of Honor is my country's highest distinction. Right now, I'm speaking on behalf of President Macron. He signed your document. It means a lot to us. I think it has a special meaning also for me and for us to honor a person who embodies what service is and means. This is the first time we are meeting, sir, but I know a lot about you now. I know what you did before, during, and after the war. And it's not only obvious, it is remarkable that you have always served and you keep serving. You came to France in 1944 and you came back to France not too long ago, in Normandy this time, because you felt the need to honor your comrades who have found their final resting place in France, my country. They died for us in their land of adoption, France. And believe me, we are taking good care of them, together with you, together with the American people. We share the same values, the values of freedom, the values of democracy, the values of tolerance. And this has been the case since America's independence. I know a few French people were here even before the American independence. La Salle, Tonty, and others. But I think Lafayette is even more famous than La Salle, and Rochambeau and others. And so there is a continuity from Yorktown to Omaha, to Marseille, to Saint-Tropez. A continuity of alliance, a continuity of two people standing together, standing for our shared values. The Declaration of Independence inspired the French Revolution. And Lafayette played a role in your independence. We invested in you. We believed in the future of America, and that was a good choice for many reasons. In 1917, America came to Europe to end the war. In 1944, you ended the war and a new era started in Europe. You built a bridge over the Atlantic. And now it's my duty as a French consul to build more bridges with you, differently, but to keep the very strong alliance and mutual confidence and optimism for our two people. It's hard to believe you are 94 years old. It's hard to believe, and soon 95. Sir, you were born in Mackinac, Illinois, not far from here. You had 3 brothers and 4 sisters, and like many young kids of America's greatest generation, you grew up in the 20s, but you also went through the Big Depression. And I'm sure life was not that easy. At 6 years old, your father passed away. You were only 6 years old. And I'm thinking of this when When I read that, I think of my father, who had the chance to have a dad who was living far from him because he was a prisoner of war. But I'm thinking of the dads and the sons. I have a son. And while we honor your service in World War II, again, I want to say we honor you as a person, as a human being, as a member of your community. And you helped your mother with your siblings, setting the example. You also worked part-time at a Standard Oil station, washing and greasing cars to earn little money. And in April of 1943, you were just ending high school. You were drafted into the Army Air Corps to serve your country. And you entered active service at Schofield, Illinois, near St. Louis, I believe, joining the 2nd Replacement Depot of the 5th Army. You served as a supply clerk and truck driver. And on September 30th of 1943, you arrived in North Africa. Anyone familiar with the movie Casablanca? And through the end of November 1945, you served in 5 major campaigns. Naples, Foggia, Rome, Arno, Southern France, Rhineland, and Central Europe. 5 major campaigns. And the 5th Army, that was your army, prepared the offensive on mainland Italy. Not a small thing. Very important battles in Italy. Very, very important. And on August 15th, which is a date that the French people will always remember, not only June 6th, August 15th is equally important in French memory. The 5th Army, combined with other Allied forces, launched the assault on southern France, Operation Dragoon, the invasion of southern France. I always like to say what you call invasion, the French people don't call it invasion. We call it liberation. You came to liberate us. And you fought in Saint-Tropez area, also in Marseille, not Marseille, Illinois. Marseille, France, where actually the Wehrmacht provided the main defense. And after the Provence campaign, you advanced to the Rhineland, all the way to Hamburg, and then for Belgium, for a final assignment. And you left European theater in November 1945, and honorably discharged in December 1945. You earned many distinctions that you're wearing today, and in a few minutes you'll see the new medal with a red ribbon. After the war in 1945, you married Mary Elizabeth, who passed away. She was from Tremont, Illinois. I checked on the GPS. There are only 11 minutes between Mackinac and Tremont, Illinois. In 2019. And you had a daughter, Rhonda, a granddaughter, Ashley, and a great-granddaughter, Samantha. Many girls. Beaucoup de filles, as we would say in France. And in 1946, you joined the Illinois Air National Guard, of which you are now the oldest member, but not the least active. You served for 20 years at the base in Peoria as a Master Sgt in charge of all the maintenance of motor pool. And in 1962, you retired. Or in the early 60s, you were retired. I read 1962, but correct me if I'm wrong. You retired after 20 years of service. Just that the math doesn't add after 20 years, that doesn't work. And then you worked at Keystone Steel and Wire for a while, and then at a local RV place. And I'm told you liked it very much. You are a traveler. You traveled around the United States. You also own a piece of land with a pond where you enjoyed fishing and relaxing. But you don't relax that often. I think you are a super busy person. And you became active in the Greater Peoria Honor Flight. In 2013, you were introduced by your granddaughter, Ashley. And after a first flight to DC, you became an active volunteer of the chapter, very active volunteer. I know you give presentations in local schools, actively engaging students in fundraising efforts for the organization, but also for transmission of knowledge, of lessons, of culture, of history, of memory. And you're strongly committed to developing bridges. My job is to build bridges between France and the Midwest, but you build bridges between generations. And that's so important, so important. And in doing so, you're building bridges between generations here, but also in France. Thank you. Vraiment. Merci beaucoup. So when I say you are a super busy person, I think some people call you the Energizer Bunny. True? Okay. And so this year in June, you had your first trip back to France. You are so much welcome to France. You don't have to fight anymore. It's done. Now you have the right to rest and enjoy life and visit us. And we thank you for your visits. I have no doubt that the people in Normandy, all generations together, express their thanks, hugs, kisses, all the demonstration of affection and love and gratitude. I think it goes beyond words. So the only word I can say on behalf of the French president, on behalf of the French people, on behalf of my family, on behalf of the dead, on behalf of the generations to come. Thank you, merci for your service from the bottom of my heart, du fond du cœur. Merci, Monsieur Neeley. Bravo. Vive la République. God bless America. Thank you. And thank you to all veterans who came here today. I want to thank you for your service.
Monsieur Jean Neeley, au nom du président de la République française, je vous fais chevalier dans l'ordre national de la Légion d'honneur.
Thank you. Well, good morning. I thank everybody for coming and helping me celebrate such a award that I never thought I would ever receive. But you never know what's going to happen tomorrow if you take care of today. So it is quite an honor to receive this award today. I would like to thank the people of France, the Consul General. During World War II, when I came up through southern France, the people were very honorable to the military to make sure that we were taken care in good fashion. I would like to thank Phyllis for her hard work going through my military records to help make this award happen. I would like to thank Tom and Margaret Williams for sponsoring this luncheon. And of course, I would like to thank my family, friends that are here to help me celebrate this wonderful day. It is my honor to serve my country and do what needed to be done. And I thank everybody for coming to help me celebrate this thing. Thank you very much.
The Tazewell Military Rights Team will now retire the colors.
Honor guard. Attention. Right. Face. Forward. March.
Thank you everyone for coming today to be a part of this monumental day in Gene's life. We all love and adore you, Gene, and I hope you know how proud of you we all are. Keep inspiring us every day with how you live your life, how you honor your country by your service to other veterans, and last but not least, how you wake up every morning with a smile and end the day with an even bigger one. We love you, Gene.